Hello and welcome to another My NT&E marriage video. I wanted to talk about judgment. The judgment you receive by others when you are in a relationship with a neurodiverse. I'm not sure how many of you will be able to relate to this, though I suspect a fair few. I've had the sort of judgments, just random judgments by people who know him, who will say things like how I've gained weight and things like that. And he's so nice and he's so giving, and look at her being so negative. And haven't you got anything positive to say about your husband? And it's not him, it's you. You should be lucky to have him. Or the people who say we can see both sides. Why are you always negative? Why don't you concentrate on the positives? It's not all that bad. So I've had those kinds of judgments. I've also had the judgments where people have said things like, I'm surprised you tolerate that. Why do you stay? Why haven't you left? Why are you putting up with that? You're teaching him how to treat you by staying. You're insecure, that's why you stay. Gotta love that one. You only stay because you think that's all he can get. You never smile. You're one of those women who needs a man. And even recently I was told by my bestie, you don't stand up for yourself. So let's explore these. I don't concentrate on the positives. Bollocks. I'm not in this marriage and have stayed this long because I don't concentrate on the positives. That's just ridiculous. Of course I am. Of course we do. It's why people stay in marriages that are hard. Because we know that they're nice outside of the complications. We have those good times that offset the bad times. And we have many good times that offset the bad times enough that we say, this is okay because we're having good times as well. We are all concentrating on positives. It's why we stay in relationships that are hard. And I've turned as many of these difficult situations into good situations as much as I can. When we moved to this house, I didn't want to move here. I didn't want to sell my house and move to this one. But it happened. And so I made the most of it as I could. I did up the garden, I painted feature walls, I've got all my art everywhere. I've made it my space. And that's what I do. I take an annoying, tricky, hard situation and turn it into a workable one. That is not somebody who only concentrates on the negatives. I need a man? Interesting. There are certain things that I would miss if I wasn't in this relationship and things that I wouldn't be getting. My husband is a good provider. He helps out with the children. He helps out with the housework. He does things for us. It's not a lose-lose situation. It's not where he does absolutely nothing and I'm his caregiver and I'm doing all of the work. I don't have that situation with him. He is proactive. And I don't need him to be by my side, helping me out with things. However, I do like him being by my side and helping me out with things. I like being in a marriage with somebody who's tall and I can say to him, can you change that light bulb for me, without me having to either get a ladder or 50 chairs all piled up on top of each other so that I can reach. To me, it's not so much need, but like. I like having a husband. I like having a man around. I like having a man around to do things and help out. And even if we don't really fully connect, it's nice to have somebody who's in your space and you can just chat to. Granted, I have not always felt this way. I will absolutely admit We have been through some really, really, really hard times. Hard times where I'm sure I hated him, or at least it felt like that. Hard times full of such anger and resentment, I thought I would explode or die, or I wanted the ground to open up and swallow me because I couldn't see a way out. I have felt trapped without a doubt. But at the end of the day, we're trying to make it work. And that to me is a very good reason to stay. I'm not staying because I need him. I'm staying because I want to be in a relationship. I didn't get married because I wanted to be single. I stay because I'm insecure, told to me by people who are more insecure than I will ever be. I do not consider myself an insecure person. Are there things that I really don't like about myself? Absolutely. Are some of those things all in my head and imagined? They can be. This is how people work. It's how people who look in the mirror and go, I don't like my nose, I don't like my face, I don't like my hips, I don't like my thighs. We all have those issues about ourselves that we don't necessarily like. And I'll even think sometimes, maybe I'm a really terrible person. Maybe that's why I struggle to have friends and friendships and things. Maybe I'm just an annoying, terrible, yucky person and nobody wants to be around me. We all have those sort of self-doubts. A little devil who sits on your shoulder telling you how crap you are. But at the end of the day, I know my strengths. I know what I'm good at. I'm very hard to offend or put down because I know my value and my self-worth. So people who say that I'm staying because I'm insecure, that's not it. I mean, there is a part of me that thinks, oh, imagine splitting up now at this age, and I'm not in my prime, and then having to find somebody else, like, oh God, cringe. And that's an insecurity per se, but doesn't make me insecure, if you know what I mean. You never smile. People who tell me I never smile, I had a miserable upbringing and I never smile. Again, have you met me? My nickname at work was Smiley. So was my mum's. How ironic. Well, not really ironic, but fabulous actually. The both of us are similar in that sense. But I'm not miserable. I'm not super unhappy. I've had moments where I am. And I do feel like I've lost a little bit of my joy lately. But it's not that I never smile. I'm always mucking around. I'm always goofing off. I'm always trying to crack these ridiculous one-liners to make people laugh. And half the time, nobody's laughing. But I'll laugh. And when I say nobody, I'm talking within my family, my children and my husband. But I'm laughing. And even if they're not, I'm still thinking, yay, I've made myself laugh and I'm now smiling and laughing and this is a good thing. I'm always trying to do that. I think that that's what life's about. You have to have fun and have joy in it and laughter and comedy. I think that having a too serious life is just not healthy. So people who tell me I don't smile much, I just think you haven't been paying attention. And people who say, I'm surprised you tolerate that, I don't think being with somebody is tolerating. Or people who say, you're teaching him how to treat you because you stay. There is no part of me that backs down and just hides in a corner. I'm not a doormat, I never will be. I'm not tolerating anything. Tolerating is where, in my opinion, correct me if you think I'm wrong, somebody does something to you and it's really crappy and you just ignore it because you don't have the kahunas or the guts or whatever it is to stand up for yourself. That's what I think tolerating something is. If you fight for your rights and stand up for yourself and demand better treatment and demand better ways to speak and all of those sorts of things, that's not tolerating. I'm always arguing my point and standing up for myself and insisting that I get the respect that I deserve. I may be in a marriage with somebody who is disrespectful, but me saying you owe me better respect than that is the opposite of me tolerating his lack of respect. I am trying to teach him to respect me and to be a respectful, loving, caring, well-mannered, not angry person that's not tolerating. And with my bestie recently saying to me that I don't stand up for myself, well, I'm pretty sure I just said that I do. It's my go-to. And here's the thing about that. And listen very carefully, people. Not the NT wives in my position, but the others out there. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has come to bat for me. Not my mum, not my brothers, not my dad, not his friends, not even the counsellors who think that I'm inventing it all. Nobody has ever said to him, pull your socks up, put your manners back in, do not treat your wife that way. No one. I've had people who I've opened up to, two of his friends in fact, and both of them turned around to me and said, we can see both sides. There are no both sides. I know Dr. Phil says, even a pancake that's really thin, there's still two sides to the story. There are not two sides to somebody verbally abusing and being angry with their partner. There's just that wrong side. That's wrong. That's it. There's no, oh, but we can see where he's coming from. I beg your pardon. Come again? What? Makes me angry. As you can probably tell. It's not two sides. He is not being a good person when he's losing his temper and yelling. There's something wrong with that. There's something fundamentally wrong behind whatever it is that's causing that anger that's never been dealt with. And for as long as he's got bozo friends who say we can see both sides to the story, it'll never be better. Nobody's ever saying to him, what the hell? Why would you do that? Why are you doing that? It's not until our most recent counsellor who specialises in ASD who's actually calling him out on it and getting to the bottom of what it is that's making him rage. So people who tell me that I don't stand up for myself, I'm sorry, but I'm the only one who stands up for myself. I'm the only one calling him out on his bullshit. I'm the only one saying, do not do that to me. All the children, treat us better, be better. I work very, very hard at trying to have a marriage that is good. And I know that many marriages struggle. There's a saying that all marriages are hard. Some are more harder than others. I feel blessed to a degree that mine isn't as complicated as some others out there. I have a husband who's at least helping around the house and helping with the children, and he isn't physically abusive. To be honest, that would probably be easier to end a relationship with somebody who's physically abusive than verbally abusive, because he wasn't verbally abusive straight away. It snuck up. It was a little bit here and a little bit there, and then the rage started. And as soon as that rage started, I started standing up for myself. I don't cower in a corner ever. Even when he's towering over me and I might be thinking, damn, if he hits me, I'm gone, which he wouldn't hit me. He's not that kind of person. But I don't ever just cower. Even if I don't say anything back because I wait for him to finish his rage, or I know that if I speak I'll just make it worse. He'll just keep going. I'll still stand there, even if my arms are folded or something. I'll stand there and just wait for him to be done, and then I'll say my piece. I don't ever just back down. There was one time he was raging at me, This is in the early days, just after our first child was born. And I cannot remember what it was about because we just had so many of these situations where he'll just lose his temper about God knows what. And I was so angry with him, and I couldn't get him to stop raging, and I couldn't get him to leave me alone or see reason. I mean, you can't see reason when you're that angry. All you see is red. I just started tipping out his drawers. I went up to his dresser and I just grabbed a drawer and I tipped the contents out and I plonked the drawer on the floor, off to the next one, and I just kept going until there was a pile of clothes and drawers on the floor. And he goes, "Are you going to pick that up?" And I went, "No." That was it. That was how I dealt with that anger right then in that moment. Now I thought he would lose it, to be honest. I thought he was going to fly into another rage. Maybe biff some drawers at me. But he didn't. And I didn't pick them up. Even though I'm the one who put them there. I thought, no, this is your punishment for raging. You know? So the way I see it is, I'm the only one standing up for myself. So people who say to me that I don't stand up for myself and I'm tolerating him and all this kind of crap, I'm sorry, but unless you've actually had words with my husband and assisted me, then who are you to talk? Because as I said, nobody ever has. Nobody's ever gone up to him and asked him about any of the things that he's doing. It's all left to me to deal with behind closed doors, as are most of these tumultuous relationships. So my point is, I'm making the most of this relationship. I'm not sitting in a corner rocking, banging my head against the wall and pulling my hair out. Even though there's times that I've kind of wanted to do that because I'm at a loss as to what to do next. I'm constantly trying to find a way through it, a way to make it better, a way to make him more understanding. And I made mistakes in the early days where I would just break down and have these verbal vomits with him and he'd be overwhelmed and obviously defensive. And so I've learned myself different ways to talk with him about situations so that we can move forward. So it will be maybe a one-word sentence, not a one-word sentence. Just one sentence, a small sentence to say XYZ. And then I'll let him process that. And then maybe he'll say something and then I'll say something back again and let him process that. So I've learned and implemented and tried all manner of different techniques. And sure, I was on the phone to my family and friends, pleading, begging, wanting to know what to do, can they help? And sure, in those really bad times, they must have just been thinking, get out, woman, what are you doing? This man is tearing you apart. And he was. It was really awful before. But we've both worked on trying to make things better. And again, I'm lucky because I've got a husband who wants to work on it. He could have just left, really. He could have just gone, this is too hard, see you later. I mean, we both could have. But for whatever reason, we just never wanted to. We both had this kind of mentality where we wanted to be in the relationship. We like who we've chosen as partners. And we wanted to work on that, better that, maintain it, and have a future together. So anyway, that's me talking about judgments. Let me know if you've been in the same boat as well. And leave a comment below. Love to hear from you, and thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it.